creating a script for a YouTube video on sources of changes in society and responding to new challenges to human adaptation. Introduction. Host. Energetic. Hello, explorers of social dynamics. Today, we're delving into the sources of change in society and how humanity is responding to new challenges. Let's embark on this enlightening journey. Sources of change in society. Host. Inquisitive. Change is the heartbeat of society. We'll begin by uncovering the sources of these societal shifts. Visual. Icons representing innovation, diffusion, assimilation, and acculturation. Host. Voiceover. Innovation, the birthplace of new ideas and inventions, propels our progress. It's the catalyst for change. Visual. Light bulb symbolizing innovation. Host. Analytical. Diffusion, the transmission of ideas and practices from one group to another, connects societies and fosters cultural exchange. Visual. Globe showing cultural diffusion. Host. Knowledgeable. Assimilation and acculturation, while subtly different, both reflect the beautiful tapestry of multicultural societies. Visual. Montage of diverse cultures. Host. Reflective. Social contradictions and tensions, from interethnic conflicts to gender issues, highlight the evolving dynamics of our world. Visual. Images representing social tensions. Effects of cultural, social, and political changes. Host. Intrigued. Now let's explore how these changes ripple through society, reshaping our lives. Visual. Icons showing changes in lifestyle development and modernization. Host. Voiceover. Changes in our mode of living, driven by technological advancement, provide us greater comfort and security. Visual. Technological advancements. Host. Empowering. Development is not just about economics, it's an indicator of a society's quality of life. Visual development indicators. Host. Progressive. Modernization is the grand transformation from traditional to advanced societal characteristics. Visual. Montage showcasing modernization. Theories on changes in society. Host. Analytical. To understand these shifts better, we turn to theories that dissect the societal evolution. First up, evolutionary theory. Visual. Icon representing evolutionary theory. Host. Voiceover. This theory suggests societies evolve from simple and primitive to complex and advanced forms. Visual. Evolutionary progression. Host. Challenging. Conflict theory, on the other hand, paints societal progress as a result of oppressed groups fighting for a better life. Visual. Icon representing conflict theory. Host. Voiceover. Cyclical theory reminds us that societies experience cycles of birth, maturity, decay, and eventual transformation. Visual. Cycles of societal change. Host. Harmonious. Structural functionalism theory believes society is a balanced system of institutions working together. Visual. Institutions supporting society. Things we can do. Host. Empowering. Armed with knowledge, we can shape the path of societal change. Here's what we can do. Visual. Icons representing actions. Host. Inspiring. Consider the advantages and disadvantages of changes before embracing them. Visual. Weighing pros and cons. Host. Adaptive. Adapt instead of resisting change. It's a key to survival in our ever-evolving world. Visual. Adapting to change. Host. Resolute. Stand firm with your principles. Choose what aligns best with your ideals. Visual. Principles and ideals. Host. Empowering. Resisting change isn't always the answer. It's about making the best choices for you. Visual. Individuals making choices. New challenges to human adaptation. Host. Concerned. Now let's tackle the new challenges humanity faces in our rapidly changing world. Visual. Icons representing global warming, climate change, migration, and overseas workers. Host. Voiceover. Global warming, a gradual increase in Earth's temperature, is changing our climate permanently. Visual. Earth warming up. Host. Activist. Climate change is a long-term alteration in weather patterns, a global concern that demands our attention. Visual. Climate patterns changing. Host. Inclusive. Transnational migration leads people to belong to multiple societies at once, expanding the meaning of home. Visual. Globe representing transnational migration. Host. Supportive. Overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, are a prime example of those navigating the challenges of migration. Visual. Images of OFWs. Responding to the new challenges. Host. Optimistic. Humanity responds with resilience and innovation. Let's explore the responses. Visual. Icons representing inclusive citizenship, participatory governance, social networking, and social movements. Host. Voiceover. Inclusive citizenship focuses on legal equality for each citizen, ensuring no one is left behind. Visual icons representing inclusive citizenship. Host engaged. Participatory governance deepens democracy through citizens' active engagement in the decision-making process. Visual icons representing participatory governance. Host connected. Social networking leverages the power of the internet to connect people and ideas across the globe. Visual social networking icons. Host inspired. Social movements, driven by collective action, champion societal change in support of shared goals. Visual social movement images. Concluding thoughts. Host reflective. As we navigate the currents of change in our society, remember that knowledge empowers us to adapt, embrace, and transform. Visual montage of diverse individuals embracing change. Host voiceover. Stay informed, stay engaged, and always stay curious. Together we can shape a brighter future. Until next time, keep questioning. End of script. Feel free to adapt and customize the script to match your video's style and content. Add visuals, anecdotes, or examples to make it more engaging and relatable to your audience. Introduction. Camera fade in. Host speaking with enthusiasm. Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of anthropology. Ever wondered what makes us unique as humans and what connects us across the globe? Well, you're in the right place because we're going to explore the definition, goals, and the four major fields of general anthropology. So, let's get started. Definition of anthropology. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Anthropology, in a nutshell, is the study of humanity. It encompasses our prehistoric origins and the diversity we see in contemporary human societies. Anthropologists draw knowledge from social, physical, and biological sciences, as well as the humanities. Host, voiceover. They apply this knowledge to address real-world problems and challenges faced by humans. So, it's not just about understanding our past, it's also about shaping a better future. Goals of anthropology. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with emphasis. Now let's talk about the goals of anthropology. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Goal number 1. Discovering what makes people different from one another is crucial to understanding and preserving diversity. We need to celebrate our unique traits, while also appreciating the common threads that bind us together. Host, voiceover. Goal number 2. Anthropology helps us explore what all humans have in common. This includes studying folklore, traditions, language, and more to understand the essence of human nature. Host, voiceover. Goal number 3. It encourages us to look at our own culture objectively, as if we were outsiders. This helps us recognize the flaws in our own cultures and make positive changes. Host, voiceover. Goal number 4. Anthropology constantly strives to produce new knowledge and theories about humankind and human behavior. This knowledge is then used to tackle real-world challenges. 4 major fields of general anthropology. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with interest. Now let's explore the 4 major fields of general anthropology. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Field number 1. Cultural anthropology. This involves the study of living people and their cultures, including variation and change. Think art, religion, migration, marriage, and family. Host, voiceover. Field number 2. Linguistic anthropology. It's all about the study of communication, mainly among humans, including its origins, history, and variations. Host, voiceover. Field number 3. Archaeology. This field helps us uncover the secrets of past human cultures through the recovery and analysis of artifacts. It's like being a detective of the past. Host, voiceover. Field number 4. Biological anthropology, also known as physical anthropology. It focuses on humans as biological organisms, delving into their evolution and contemporary variations. Applied anthropology. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with clarity. And last but not least, camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Applied anthropology. This isn't a separate field, but rather the application of anthropological knowledge to solve real-world problems and shape policy decisions. Host, voiceover. Just like theory, application is a vital part of anthropology. It's about putting knowledge into action to make the world a better place. Conclusion. Camera transitions back to host. Host, smiling. And there you have it. A brief exploration of anthropology, its goals, and its fascinating fields. We hope you've enjoyed this journey through the world of anthropology. Camera fade out. Host, excited. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next video. End of script. Introduction. Camera fade in. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. Today, we're delving deep into the world of sociology, exploring its fascinating origins, its definition, and its various areas of study. So, let's dive right in. Definition of sociology. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Sociology, a term derived from the Latin socius, meaning associate, and the Greek logos meaning study of knowledge, is the scientific study of human civilization. Host, voiceover. The term sociology was coined by Auguste Comte, often regarded as the father of sociology during the 19th century. Host, voiceover. At its core, sociology is a systematic study of groups and societies, examining how these social structures influence human behavior. It focuses on various social connections, institutions, organizations, structures, and processes. Host, voiceover. Sociology gathers social inputs, including attitudes, viewpoints, consolidated values, and norms of social institutions, which collectively form part of the social fabric. The scientific study of sociology. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with interest. Now let's explore the significance of the scientific study of sociology. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Through sociology, we obtain possible theories and principles about society, shedding light on various aspects of social life. This critical examination extends to our roles within society. Host, voiceover. Sociology teaches us that everything in society is interconnected. An individual's personal history is entwined with their environment's history, which in turn is linked to the nation's history. Host, voiceover. It broadens our awareness of sociological facts, acquired through empirical processes, challenging our preconceptions about various social issues. Host, voiceover. Sociology also exposes us to different perspectives on truth, illustrating that some theorists argue that truth is relative, and the determination of good or bad actions depends on social norms. Areas of sociology. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with clarity. Now let's explore the diverse areas of sociology. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Area number 1, social organization. This includes the study of social institutions, social inequality, social mobility, religious groups, and bureaucracy. Host, voiceover. Area number 2, social psychology. Focusing on human nature, it emphasizes how social processes, also known as social stimuli, impact individual responses. Host, voiceover. Area number 3, applied sociology. This area aims to yield practical applications for understanding and improving human behavior and organizations, resolving social problems through sociological research. Host, voiceover. Area number 4, population studies. This encompasses the study of population size, growth, demographic characteristics, migration, changes, and quality in relation to economic, political, and social systems. Host, voiceover. Area number 5, human ecology. It examines the effects of various social organizations, such as religious and political institutions, on population behavior. Host, voiceover. Area number 6, sociological theory and research. This area is dedicated to discovering theoretical tools, methods, and techniques to scientifically explain specific sociological issues. Host, voiceover. Area number 7, social change. It studies factors that cause both social organization and disorganization, including calamities, drug abuse, political instability, unemployment, and other social issues. Conclusion. Camera transitions back to host. Host, smiling. And there you have it, a brief exploration of sociology, from its origins and definition to its diverse areas of study. We hope you've enjoyed this journey through the fascinating world of sociology. Camera fade out. Host, excited. If you found this video informative, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next video. End of script. Introduction. Camera fade in. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Today, we're delving into the world of political science and politics. We'll explore their definitions and understand the functions of political institutions, as well as the difference between a state and a nation. So, let's get started. Definition of political science. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Political science, an academic discipline, focuses on the study of government and political processes, institutions, and behaviors. It's all about unraveling the complexities of how governments function, and how political actors, including administrations, oppositions, and subjects, interact within the political arena. Host, voiceover. It is also the systematic study of political and government institutions and processes, which helps us gain insights into the dynamics of governance. Definition of politics. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with interest. Now let's take a closer look at politics. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. The term politics has its roots in the Greek word polis, which means city or state. It refers to both the art and science of governing a city or state. Host, voiceover. Politics involves the social process or strategy in any position of control, where people gain, use, or lose power. It's the arena where decisions are made that shape the course of a society. Functions of political institutions. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with clarity. Now let's explore the functions of political institutions. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Function number 1, enacting laws, ordinances, and rules designed to promote the safety, health, peace, order, and morals of the community. It's all about setting the framework for a well-ordered society. Host, voiceover. Function number 2, levying and regulating taxes. This crucial function funds various government initiatives and services. Host, voiceover. Function number 3, supporting education programs. Education is essential for societal progress, and governments play a key role in ensuring access to quality education. Host, voiceover. Function number 4, planning the economy. Governments implement economic policies to ensure stability and growth. Host, voiceover. Function number 5, administering justice. This involves upholding the rule of law and ensuring fair and equitable treatment for all citizens. Host, voiceover. Function number 6, promoting physical, economic, social, and cultural well-being of the people. Governments work to improve the quality of life for their citizens. Host, voiceover. Function number 7, preserving the internal and external autonomy of the state. This includes protecting the sovereignty of the nation. Host, voiceover. Function number 8, administering foreign and diplomatic relations. Governments engage with other nations to advance their interests and maintain peaceful relations. State vs. nation. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with interest. Lastly, let's clarify the difference between a state and a nation. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. A state is primarily a political concept. It refers to a community of people, permanently occupying a definite portion of territory, with their own government, and enjoying freedom from external control. Host, voiceover. On the other hand, a nation is more of an ethnic concept. It signifies that people are bound together by common ethnic elements, such as race, language, and culture. Conclusion. Camera transitions back to host. Host, smiling. And there you have it, a comprehensive look at political science, politics, the functions of political institutions, and the distinction between a state and a nation. We hope you found this exploration enlightening. Camera fade out. Host, excited. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more informative content. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next video. End of script. Introduction. Camera fade in. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. Welcome to our educational journey as we explore the captivating fields of anthropology, sociology, and political science. These disciplines offer unique insights into the complexities of human societies, and today, we'll unravel their definitions, purposes, and significance. So, let's dive right in. Anthropology. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Anthropology, often called the study of humanity, delves into our prehistoric origins and contemporary human diversity. Host, voiceover. Its goals are fascinating. First, to discover what makes people unique and preserve diversity. Anthropologists aim to emphasize not only what sets different groups apart, but also what unites us as a global community. Host, voiceover. Second, anthropology seeks to uncover our commonalities, exploring folklore, traditions, language, and more to understand the essence of human nature. Host, voiceover. Third, it encourages us to examine our own culture from an outsider's perspective, making the strange familiar and the familiar strange. This helps us recognize our culture's flaws and work towards improvement. Host, voiceover. Lastly, anthropology produces new knowledge and theories about humankind and human behavior, which can be applied to address real-world challenges. Fields of anthropology. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with clarity. Now let's explore the diverse fields within anthropology. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Field number 1. Cultural anthropology. This studies living people and their cultures, including variation and change. Think of it as the exploration of the social lives, art, religion, migration, marriage, and family of past and present societies. Host, voiceover. Field number 2. Linguistic anthropology. This focuses on the study of communication, delving into its origins, history, and contemporary variations, mainly among humans. Host, voiceover. Field number 3. Archaeology. It's like being a detective of the past, examining past human cultures through the recovery and analysis of artifacts. Host, voiceover. Field number 4. Biological anthropology, also known as physical anthropology, explores humans as biological organisms, including their evolution and contemporary variations. Sociology. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with interest. Moving on to sociology, camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Sociology, derived from Latin and Greek words, is the study of government and political processes, institutions, and behaviors. Host, voiceover. It aims to understand the complex behaviors of various political actors, such as government administrations, opposition groups, and subjects. Host, voiceover. Sociology systematically examines political and government institutions and processes, shedding light on the dynamics of governance. Branches of sociology. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with clarity. Let's dive into the various branches of sociology. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Branch number 1, social organization. This field delves into social institutions, social inequality, social mobility, religious groups, and bureaucracy. Host, voiceover. Branch number 2, social psychology. It explores human nature and how social processes, known as social stimuli, impact individual responses. Host, voiceover. Branch number 3, applied sociology. This focuses on practical applications for understanding and improving human behavior and organizations, addressing social problems through research. Host, voiceover. Branch number 4, population studies. It covers population size, growth, demographic characteristics, migration, and their implications on economic, political, and social systems. Host, voiceover. Branch number 5, human ecology. This studies how various social organizations, like religious and political institutions, influence population behavior. Host, voiceover. Branch number 6, sociological theory and research. Here, researchers develop theoretical tools and techniques to scientifically explain sociological issues. Host, voiceover. Branch number 7, social change. This examines factors that lead to both social organization and disorganization, including issues like calamities, drug abuse, political instability, and more. Political science. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. And now, let's explore the world of political science. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Political science deals with the study of government and political processes, institutions, and behaviors. It's all about understanding the mechanics of governance. Host, voiceover. Within political science, we analyze the complex behavior of political actors like government administrations, opposition groups, and citizens. Host, voiceover. It's the systematic study of political and government institutions, shedding light on how governance operates. The study of politics. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with interest. What about politics itself? Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Politics, derived from the Greek word polis meaning city or state, encompasses both the art and science of governing a city or state. Host, voiceover. It's the social process or strategy in positions of control, where individuals gain, use, or lose power. Host, voiceover. While politics often has a negative connotation, it's vital to understand that it's not just about government or politicians. It extends to various social situations where power dynamics come into play. Government and the state. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with clarity. Lastly, let's differentiate between government and the state. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Government is the agency through which the state's will is formulated, expressed, and carried out. It's responsible for imposing social control and administering public policy. Host, voiceover. On the other hand, the state is a political concept, referring to a community permanently occupying a territory with its own government. It enjoys freedom from external control. Conclusion. Camera transitions back to host. Host, smiling. There you have it. We've taken a captivating journey through anthropology, sociology, and political science, understanding their essence and significance in our complex world. Camera fade out. Host, excited. If you found this video enlightening, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more educational content. Thank you for joining us on this intellectual adventure, and we look forward to exploring more fascinating topics in the future. End of script. Introduction. Camera fade in. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. Welcome to our exploration of anthropological and sociological perspectives, where we'll dive into the fascinating world of human culture, society, and perspectives. Join us as we uncover the various lenses through which anthropologists and sociologists view our world. Anthropological perspectives. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Let's begin with anthropological perspectives. Host, voiceover. Unilineal evolutionism suggests that new cultural forms emerge from the past, passing through similar stages of development. An example is the evolution from animism to monotheism, such as Roman Catholicism or Islam. Host, voiceover. Cultural diffusionism posits that culture originates from one or more cultural centers, often borrowing elements from new cultures. An example is the influence of Western civilization on Filipino culture due to colonization by Western countries like Spain. Host, voiceover. Historical particularism asserts that each group has its unique culture influenced by its history, geography, and environment. For instance, Filipino superstitions are rooted in their ancestral history. Host, voiceover. Anthropological functionalism believes cultural elements are interrelated and persist because they serve a purpose. For example, the strong influence of religion on Filipino actions. Host, voiceover. Anthropological structuralism suggests that cultural phenomena and practices are interrelated, organizing human experiences. Think of relationships like father and son, husband and wife. Host, voiceover. Cultural materialism contends that culture is influenced by technology, resources, economic values, and the utilization of things. An example is the prohibition of pork in the Muslim diet. Sociological perspectives. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with clarity. Now let's explore sociological perspectives. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Sociological functionalism views society as organized, cooperating groups following accepted norms. Example, government investment in education to produce productive graduates. Host, voiceover. Sociological conflict perspective sees society in continuous struggle, such as the rich versus the poor. Host, voiceover. Symbolic interactionism deals with behavior patterns in large units of society. Example, why do individuals in a community avoid eye contact when talking to strangers? Host, voiceover. Evolutionism explains how human groups evolve over time. Example, from using telephones to cell phones for communication due to technological advancement. Society. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with interest. Now let's turn our attention to society itself. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Society, derived from societas, means companion or associate. It refers to people living in a particular place, following a certain way of life. Host, voiceover. According to Kornblum, society is a population organized to carry out life functions, including reproduction, sustenance, shelter, and defense. Host, voiceover. Robertson defines society as a population occupying the same territory under the same political authority, sharing a common culture. Host, voiceover. In anthropology, society is seen as a group sharing a common culture within a territory, while sociologists view it as an association organized by people within a territory. Culture. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. Finally, let's explore the concept of culture. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Culture can refer to individual tastes, inclinations, and interests in fine arts. It's often associated with being civilized. Host, voiceover. It's a complex whole encompassing beliefs, practices, values, attitudes, mores, laws, norms, artifacts, symbols, knowledge, and everything a person learns and shares as a member of society, as defined by E.B. Tyler. Host, voiceover. In anthropology, culture is seen as a unique character of every human society, encompassing how we think, act, and what we own. In sociology, culture is viewed as the imprint made by people. Conclusion. Camera transitions back to host. Host, smiling. There you have it, a comprehensive exploration of anthropological and sociological perspectives, society, and culture. We hope you've gained valuable insights into the lenses through which we understand our world. Camera fade out. Host, excited. If you found this video enlightening, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more educational content. Thank you for joining us on this intellectual journey, and stay curious. Introduction. Camera fade in. Host, speaking with interest. Welcome to our discussion on how people view other cultures. The way we perceive and interact with cultures beyond our own can greatly impact our understanding of the world. Today, we'll explore three distinct perspectives: cultural relativism, ethnocentrism, and xenocentrism. Cultural relativism. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Let's begin with cultural relativism. Host, voiceover. Cultural relativism suggests that culture gains meaning only when understood within its own context. This perspective emphasizes that it's not appropriate to compare, apply, or judge one's own culture in the context of another culture. Host, voiceover. In essence, it calls for the recognition and acceptance of the diversity of cultural practices, values, and norms. It's about embracing the idea that what may be right or wrong is shaped by a culture's unique perspective. Ethnocentrism. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with clarity. Next, let's explore ethnocentrism. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Ethnocentrism is the perception of one's own culture as superior to other cultures. It often leads individuals to evaluate and judge other cultures based on the standards and values of their own culture. Host, voiceover. This perspective can result in a limited view of the world and can hinder cross-cultural understanding. It may lead to biases, stereotypes, and a failure to appreciate the richness of cultural diversity. Xenocentrism. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with interest. Now, we come to xenocentrism. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Xenocentrism is the perception of one's own culture as inferior to other cultures. In contrast to ethnocentrism, individuals with a xenocentric outlook may devalue their own culture and idealize other cultures. Host, voiceover. While this perspective can promote an open-minded approach to other cultures, it's essential to strike a balance between appreciating the merits of various cultures while also valuing one's own cultural identity. Conclusion. Camera transitions back to host. Host, smiling. There you have it, three distinct ways people view other cultures: cultural relativism, ethnocentrism, and xenocentrism. These perspectives greatly influence how we navigate the rich tapestry of our global society. Camera fade out. Host, excited. If you found this exploration insightful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more engaging discussions. Thank you for joining us on this journey of cultural understanding, and let's continue to embrace the diversity that makes our world so fascinating. End of script. Introduction. Camera fade in. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. Welcome to our exploration of the various aspects of culture. Culture is a dynamic, shared, and learned part of human society. Join us as we delve into different facets of culture and how they shape our lives. Aspects of culture. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Let's start by understanding the aspects of culture. Host, voiceover. Aspects of culture are dynamic, flexible, and adaptive. They evolve and change with time, reflecting the ever-shifting nature of human society. Host, voiceover. These aspects are shared and often contested through time. They are not set in stone, but are subject to interpretation and negotiation within a community. Host, voiceover. They are learned through socialization or enculturation, passed down from one generation to the next. Host, voiceover. They manifest as patterned social interactions, shaping the way we behave and relate to one another. Host, voiceover. Lastly, these aspects of culture are integrated but can also be unstable, reflecting the complex and sometimes contradictory nature of cultural systems. Artifacts. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with clarity. Now let's dive into the first aspect. Artifacts. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Artifacts are objects made by human beings, Whether they are handcrafted or mass-produced, they offer insights into a society's craftsmanship and creativity. Arts and recreation. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with interest. Next up, we have arts and recreation. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. This aspect encompasses arts, music, drama, literature, games, sports, and how people use their leisure time. It reflects a society's cultural expressions and entertainment. Close. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. Let's move on to the aspect of close. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Clothes represent what people usually wear in a community. They can signify cultural identity, social status, and even environmental adaptation. Customs and traditions. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with clarity. Now let's explore customs and traditions. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. These are the practices and rituals that shape a society's way of life. They are the things we do that are often steeped in history and cultural significance. Food. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with interest. Next on our list is food. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Food represents the staple diet of a community. It reflects not only culinary traditions, but also the availability of resources in a region. Government. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with clarity. Moving forward, we have government. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Government is the institution responsible for implementing rules, maintaining peace and order, and addressing conflicts within a community. It reflects the organization of power and authority. Knowledge. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. Let's delve into the aspect of knowledge. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Knowledge is the psychological result of perception, learning, and reasoning. It shapes the way individuals and societies understand the world. Language. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with interest. Now let's explore the aspect of language. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Language is the mental faculty, or power of vocal communication. It's a cornerstone of culture, facilitating communication and preserving cultural heritage. Religion. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with clarity. Next up, we have religion. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Religion involves a strong belief in a supernatural power that controls human destiny. It often shapes moral values, rituals, and worldviews within a society. Shelter. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. Now let's explore shelter. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Shelter refers to structures that provide privacy and protection from danger. It reflects a society's architectural and environmental adaptations. Tools. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with clarity. Moving on to tools. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Tools are objects used to improve the performance of tasks. They showcase a society's technological advancements and problem-solving capabilities. Values. Camera transitions back to host. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. Finally, we have values. Camera transitions to text slide with key points. Host, voiceover. Values are the morals that guide our behavior. They represent the ethical principles upheld by a society. Conclusion. Camera transitions back to host. Host, smiling. There you have it. A comprehensive exploration of the diverse aspects of culture. These facets collectively shape our identities, interactions, and the way we experience the world. Camera fade out. Host, excited. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Thank you for joining us on this cultural journey, and let's continue to celebrate the rich tapestry of human diversity. End of script. Great! Let's create a YouTube script for a video about hunting and gathering societies. This script will serve as an outline for your video. You can add more details, visuals, and personal touches as needed. Introduction. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're going on a journey through time to explore one of the earliest forms of human society, hunting and gathering societies. We'll delve into their way of life, their strategies for survival, and the unique characteristics that define these ancient communities. So, let's step back in time and learn about our hunter-gatherer ancestors. Definition of hunting and gathering society. Host, voiceover. Hunting and gathering societies, also known as foraging societies, were the first human societies that existed during the Paleolithic period, which lasted from the beginnings of human life until about 10,000 BCE. Visual, a map showing the Paleolithic period and the regions inhabited by these societies. Host, voiceover. These societies were nomadic, small in size, usually consisting of 20 to 30 members, and they depended primarily on wild food sources for their subsistence. Visual illustration of a hunting scene and a gathering scene. Subsistence strategies. Host, speaking with clarity. To survive, hunting and gathering societies employed diverse strategies, depending on their local environment. They hunted or trapped wild animals, fished, gathered shellfish, insects, and various wild plant foods like fruits, vegetables, tubers, seeds, and nuts. Visual, images of tools used for hunting, fishing, and gathering. Host, voiceover. To ensure a balanced diet, they combined these strategies and moved from place to place in search of new food supplies. Their nomadic lifestyle was influenced by seasonal changes and occasional conflicts within the group. Kinship and family. Host, speaking with interest. Now let's talk about the social structure of these societies. Visual illustrations of nuclear and extended families. Host, voiceover. Ties of kinship were vital, and they had two types of kin groups: nuclear families, consisting of a man, his wife or wives, and their unmarried children, and extended families, which included multiple nuclear families linked by shared bloodlines. Visual comparison of nuclear and extended families. Host, voiceover. The extended family was crucial as it encouraged sharing and served as a welfare institution. Economic institutions. Host, speaking with clarity. Economically, hunting and gathering societies were relatively simple. Limited technology and nomadic lifestyles prevented them from accumulating many possessions. Visual, simple tools like spears and stone axes. Host, voiceover. Work was divided between genders, with men typically responsible for hunting game animals, while women gathered fruits, berries, and other edibles. Visual, gender-based division of labor. Challenges and social control. Host, speaking with interest. Despite their simplicity, these societies faced challenges. Visual, drawings depicting blood revenge, group pressure, and social control methods. Host, voiceover. Social control was maintained through elements like blood revenge, group pressure, ostracism, and a fear of the supernatural. Spiritual beliefs. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. Let's explore their spiritual beliefs. Visual, images representing animistic beliefs. Host, voiceover. Hunting and gathering societies had animistic beliefs, where they believed that spirits inhabited virtually everything in the natural world. Socialization and initiation. Host, speaking with clarity. Socialization of the young was informal, emphasizing independence. Children learned through play and by observing and imitating their elders. Visual, scenes showing children at play and interacting with elders. Host, voiceover. Formal initiation ceremonies marked the transition from childhood to adulthood. Visual illustration of an initiation ceremony. Conclusion. Host, smiling. That wraps up our journey through hunting and gathering societies. We've learned about their subsistence strategies, social structure, challenges, and spiritual beliefs. It's fascinating to look back at how our ancestors lived and thrived in these early societies. Call to action. Host, excited? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting explorations of human history and culture. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next video. Outro. Host, waving. Goodbye, and stay curious. End of script. Creating a YouTube script based on the information you provided. Introduction. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. Hello and welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of biological and cultural evolution, and how these concepts shape the origins of modern humans. We'll explore the groundbreaking ideas of Charles Darwin, the development of societies over time, and the rise of early civilizations. So, let's get started. Biological evolution? Host, voiceover. Our journey begins with biological evolution, a concept that revolves around changes in genetics and inherited traits across generations. Visual, diagram of DNA. Host, voiceover. This idea was famously introduced by Charles Darwin, who proposed that species evolve through a process known as natural selection. Visual, Charles Darwin's portrait. Host, voiceover. Natural selection is driven by key principles, including the idea that certain traits enhancing survival and reproduction become more prevalent over time. Visual, evolutionary tree. Host, voiceover. These principles include the diversity of individuals within a species, inheritance of traits, and the survival and passing on of beneficial traits. Cultural evolution. Host, speaking with clarity. Moving on to cultural evolution, which involves the development of human culture from simple to complex forms over time. Visual, evolutionary timeline. Host, voiceover. Cultural evolution is often influenced by factors such as climatic changes and population growth. Visual, changing landscapes. Host, voiceover. It explains why societies change over time, adapting to environmental challenges, and evolving in terms of subsistence, knowledge, innovation, and technology. Levels of development. Host, speaking with interest. Now let's explore the different levels of societal development. Visual, graphics showing different societies. Host, voiceover. Hunting and gathering societies were the earliest and most basic forms of human society. Visual, illustrations of hunting and gathering. Host, voiceover. They relied on simple tools for hunting and gathering, were nomadic, and believed in the presence of spirits in nature. Visual nomadic lifestyle. Host, voiceover. Horticultural and pastoral societies marked a transition to more settled lifestyles, with small-scale farming and animal herding. Visual, farming and herding. Host, voiceover. Agricultural societies emerged with the Neolithic Revolution, leading to permanent settlements, improved farming technology, and the use of money. Visual agricultural. NYS. R. 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 X. R. 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 S. Revolution. Host, voiceover. Industrial societies arrived during the Industrial Revolution, bringing advancements in technology, machinery, and urbanization. Visual, factories and machinery. Host, voiceover. Post-industrial societies emerged with the development of information technology, focusing on computers and electronic devices. Visual, computers and electronics. Early civilizations. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. Our journey concludes with the development of early civilizations. Visual, maps of civilizations. Host, voiceover. These civilizations include the Sumerians, who thrived along the Tigris and Euphrates, the Indus Valley Civilization in India, the Shang civilization near the Huanghe River, and the ancient Egyptians along the Nile River. Visual, historical illustrations. Host, voiceover. These early civilizations marked the pinnacle of culture, social organization, politics, and art during their respective times. Visual, ancient artifacts. Conclusion. Host, smiling. And there you have it. A whirlwind tour of biological and cultural evolution, the development of societies, and the rise of early civilizations. Call to action. Host, excited. If you found this journey through human history as fascinating as we did, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with fellow history enthusiasts, and subscribe to our channel for more enlightening explorations. Thanks for joining us today. Outro. Host, waving. Until next time, keep exploring, and stay curious. End of script. Creating a YouTube script based on the information you provided. Introduction. Host, smiling. Hey there, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're delving into the fascinating world of enculturation and socialization, exploring how humans acquire their identity and adapt to society. Get ready to dive deep into the process of becoming a knowledgeable and cooperative member of our social world. Enculturation, socialization. Host, engaging. Let's kick things off with a fundamental concept. Enculturation, also known as socialization. It's the process by which, from the moment we're born, we begin to learn the norms, values, behaviors, and everything that makes us fit into our society. Visual, infant learning. Host, voiceover. Imagine a helpless infant gradually transforming into a knowledgeable and cooperative member of society. This lifelong journey begins at birth and continues until we take our last breath. Visual, lifelong journey. Host, voiceover. As the great Charles Horton Cooley proposed with the looking glass self theory, our sense of self is influenced by how we think others perceive us. Visual, looking glass self. Host, voiceover. George Herbert Mead, on the other hand, brought us the role-taking theory. It suggests that social awareness develops through early social interactions. Visual, early social interactions. Host, voiceover. According to Mead, our sense of self consists of two parts: the me, reflecting what others think of us, and the I, representing our spontaneous and unpredictable side. Visual, me and I concept. Agents of socialization. Host, speaking with enthusiasm. Now let's explore the agents of socialization that shape our identity and understanding of the world. Visual, family gatherings. Host, voiceover. First up, we have the family, the bedrock of our socialization. They lay down our foundational values, beliefs, and motivations. Visual, school environment. Host, voiceover. Next, the school takes the stage as a primary agent of socialization. It exposes us to diverse attitudes, values, and perspectives outside our family. Visual, group of friends. Host, voiceover. Then, there are our peers, our friends. They play a crucial role, especially during the transition from adolescence to adulthood. Visual, TV screen. Host, voiceover. Mass media, particularly television, is a powerful force. It offers us a window into a wide range of role models and the world beyond our immediate surroundings. Visual, office environment. Host, voiceover. Lastly, the workplace, where we learn not only how to behave in our chosen occupation, but also mark our transition from adolescence to adulthood. Visual, office workspace. Conclusion. Host, smiling. And there you have it, the incredible journey of enculturation and socialization, guided by influential agents that mold us into who we are today. Call to action. Host, excited? If you found this exploration of human development intriguing, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more captivating insights. Thanks for tuning in. Outro. Host, waving. Until next time, keep discovering and embracing the incredible world of socialization. End of script. Creating a YouTube script based on the information you provided. Introduction. Host, energetic. Hello, amazing viewers. Today, we're delving into the intriguing topics of conformity and deviance, exploring the fascinating ways individuals align with or challenge societal norms. Get ready for a journey into the world of social control and the different forms of deviance. Conformity and deviance. Host, engaging. Let's start by understanding the core concepts. Conformity is the act of behaving in a way that aligns with the majority in society or a specific group. Visual, people in a group conforming. Host, voiceover. On the flip side, we have deviance, which is when an individual's actions are recognized as a violation of cultural norms. Visual, person deviating from the norm. Host, voiceover. Social control is the mechanism that ensures people generally follow expected and approved behaviors. Visual, locks and chains representing social control. Types of social control. Host, speaking with clarity. Now let's explore the different types of social control that influence our actions. Visual, internal social control. Host, voiceover. First, we have internal social control, which originates from within. It's that voice that guides us to do the right thing, because we know it's right. Visual, person making a moral choice. Host, voiceover. For example, people won't resort to harming others because they inherently understand it's wrong. Visual, people showing empathy. Host, voiceover. External social control, on the other hand, relies on societal sanctions, rewards, and punishments to encourage desired behavior. Visual, teacher giving a high grade. Host, voiceover. Think about it. Students who work hard receive high grades, while those who engage in criminal activities might face imprisonment. Visual, student studying hard, and a person behind bars. Forms of deviance. Host, engaging. Now, let's delve into the intriguing forms of deviance that challenge societal norms. Visual, innovation, ritualism, retreatism, rebellion. Host, voiceover. First up, innovation. This involves acts like theft, burglary, and embezzlement, where individuals find unconventional ways to meet their needs. Visual, thief in action. Host, voiceover. Ritualism is when individuals go through the motions without genuine concern for their actions, like a teacher who merely goes to class without caring for their students. Visual, teacher disinterested in teaching. Host, voiceover. Retreatism takes us into the world of addiction, with examples such as alcoholics, drug addicts, and gamblers who deviate from societal norms. Visual, person struggling with addiction. Host, voiceover. Lastly, there's rebellion, where individuals challenge the norms through organized efforts, like terrorists, leftists, and guerrillas. Visual, activists protesting. Conclusion. Host, smiling. And there you have it, the captivating world of conformity, deviance, and social control. It's a complex dance between individual choices and societal expectations. Call to action. Host, enthusiastic. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button for more thought-provoking content. Outro. Host, waving. Until next time, keep questioning and exploring the fascinating dynamics of human behavior. See you soon. End of script. Introduction. Host, engaging. Welcome back to our exploration of how society is organized. In this part, we'll delve deeper into the different groups that exist within society, each with its unique characteristics and purposes. Groups within society. Host, descriptive. Society is composed of various social groups, and these groups can be categorized based on different factors, such as their structure, organization, membership, purpose, and perspective. Social groups based on structure. Host, explaining. Let's start with groups based on their structure. Primary groups are characterized by informal interactions, strong emotional bonds, and a sense of intimacy. Visual, images representing primary groups. Host, voiceover. Examples of primary groups include families, couples, and church communities. Visual, images of families, couples, and church gatherings. Host, descriptive. In contrast, secondary groups adhere more to role expectations and formalities. Members interact based on their positions and degrees of acquaintance. Visual, images representing secondary groups. Host, voiceover. Think of coworkers or office mates as an example of a secondary group where roles and hierarchy are significant. Visual, images of co-workers in an office setting. Host, explaining. Primary groups are about personal connections, while secondary groups are more transactional, focused on achieving specific goals. Social groups based on organization. Host, informative. Now let's explore groups based on their organization. Formal groups are intentionally created for specific purposes. Visual, images representing formal groups. Host, voiceover. For instance, student organizations are formed with a clear structure and objectives. Visual, students engaged in an organization's activities. Host, descriptive. On the other hand, informal groups emerge spontaneously and are not planned. Visual, images representing informal groups. Host, voiceover. Peer groups among friends or colleagues can be examples of such spontaneous, informal groups. Visual, friends having a casual get-together. Social groups based on membership. Host, engaging. Groups can also be categorized by their membership. Open groups are inclusive and welcome everyone. Visual, images representing open groups. Host, voiceover. Clubs or hobby groups are often open to anyone interested in their activities. Visual, people participating in club activities. Host, explaining. In contrast, closed groups are exclusive and have entry restrictions based on qualifications or quotas. Visual, images representing closed groups. Host, voiceover. Political parties might serve as an example, as they select members based on specific criteria. Visual, political party members at a meeting. Social groups based on purpose. Host, informative. Moving on to groups categorized by purpose. Interest groups aim to protect and promote the interests of their members. Visual, images representing interest groups. Host, voiceover. Guilds, for example, work to safeguard the trade and well-being of their members. Visual, guild members in a workshop. Host, descriptive. Pressure groups, on the other hand, are formed in the private sector to influence public opinions. Visual, images representing pressure groups. Host, voiceover. Militant groups could be considered pressure groups that strive to shape public perspectives. Visual, militant group members during a demonstration. Social groups based on perspective. Host, engaging. Finally, let's discuss groups based on perspective. In-groups are characterized by loyalty and camaraderie among members. Visual, images representing in-groups. Host, voiceover. These members often perceive themselves as different from outsiders and may appear odd or indifferent. Visual, in-group members bonding. Host, explaining. Minority groups are relatively less dominant in terms of size, status, or influence within society. Visual, images representing minority groups. Host, voiceover. Ethnic groups can be examples of minority groups. Visual, members of various ethnicities. Host, descriptive. Lastly, reference groups aren't necessarily memberships, but serve as a basis for self-evaluation. Visual, images representing reference groups. Host, voiceover. Socialites, for instance, can be seen as a reference group for individuals aspiring to a particular lifestyle. Visual, aspiring individuals admiring socialites. Conclusion. Host, reflective. Understanding these various social groups helps us grasp the complexity of society. Each group plays a unique role, and together, they shape our social fabric. Call to action. Host, motivating. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and subscribe for more insightful content about society and human interactions. Outro. Host, appreciative. Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploring how society is organized. Remember, society is a tapestry woven with diverse groups, and it's this diversity that makes it fascinating. Until next time. End of script. Creating a YouTube script based on the information you provided. Introduction. Host, welcoming. Welcome everyone to today's video, where we explore the profound concepts of human dignity, human rights, and the common good. These are not just abstract ideas, they have a real impact on our lives and society as a whole. Human dignity. Host, empathetic. Let's begin with human dignity. It's an inherent quality that every person possesses, and it's something that cannot be taken away. Visual, people from diverse backgrounds. Host, voiceover. According to Catholic social teaching, human dignity means that each and every person has value, deserves great respect, and must be free from any form of exploitation or manipulation. Visual, images of slavery and exploitation. Host, voiceover. This concept forms the foundation of fundamental human rights, and it's enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights adopted in 1948. Visual, Universal Declaration of Human Rights document. Host, empowering. Human dignity is not just a right itself, it's the basis for all fundamental rights in international law. It must be respected even when rights are restricted. Human rights. Host, engaging. Next up, we have human rights. These rights are inherent to all human beings, regardless of their background or status. Visual, diverse group of people. Host, voiceover. They are not privileges, they are things you are allowed to be, to do, or to have. Human rights protect us from harm and help us coexist peacefully. Visual, examples of rights like food, shelter, and freedom. Host, voiceover. Unfortunately, when people are unaware of their rights, discrimination, injustice, and oppression can thrive. Visual, scenes depicting discrimination. Host, voiceover. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights was born out of the atrocities of World War II, aiming to build a world based on freedom, justice, and peace. Visual, historical footage of World War II. The common good. Host, thoughtful. Lastly, let's dive into the concept of the common good. It has played a significant role in shaping societies throughout history. Visual, ancient and modern societies. Host, voiceover. The common good is often used to justify social systems, but its definition can be elusive. Is it the sum of individual goods, or something separate? Visual, question marks representing ambiguity. Host, voiceover. When the common good is separated from individual good, it can lead to prioritizing the interests of some over others. Visual, people being treated unequally. Host, empowering. In such cases, the common good may mean the good of the majority at the expense of minority or individual rights. Visual, majority versus minority concept. Conclusion. Host, inspiring. As we conclude this exploration, remember that human dignity, human rights, and the common good are not just theoretical concepts, they shape the world we live in. Call to action. Host, motivating. If you found this video enlightening, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and don't forget to subscribe for more insightful content. Outro. Host, grateful. Thank you for joining us today on this journey of understanding. Let's continue to uphold human dignity, protect human rights, and strive for a common good that benefits us all. Until next time. End of script. Creating a YouTube script for kinship, household, and types of organization. Introduction. Host, energetic. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our exploration of the intricacies of society. In this episode, we'll dive into the fascinating realms of kinship, households, and various types of social organizations. So grab your notepads because we're about to embark on an enlightening journey. Kinship. Host, informative. Kinship, at its core, is all about relationships and affinities among individuals. It plays a crucial role in structuring societies. Now let's take a closer look at the different types of kinship. Kinship by blood. Host, descriptive. Kinship by blood can be categorized into various forms. Unilineal kinship involves tracing descent through either the maternal or paternal line exclusively. Visual diagram illustrating unilineal kinship. Host, voiceover. Matrilineal kinship, as the name suggests, is all about determining descent through the female line. Visual diagram showing matrilineal kinship. Host descriptive. On the flip side, patrilineal kinship focuses on inheriting or determining descent through the male line. Visual diagram representing patrilineal kinship. Host voiceover. And then there's bilateral kinship, which traces descent through both the mother and father. Visual diagram illustrating bilateral kinship. Kinship by marriage. Host engaging. But kinship isn't only about blood ties, it's also about marriage practices. Monogamy, for instance, is the practice of being married to just one person at a time. Visual images representing monogamous couples. Host voiceover. An example of monogamous marriage can be found among Roman Catholics. Visual images of a Catholic wedding. Host informative. On the other hand, polygamy involves being married to more than one person concurrently. Visual images representing polygamous marriages. Host voiceover. For instance, in many Muslim cultures, polygamous marriages are practiced. Visual images of Muslim polygamous families. Kinship by ritual. Host explaining. Moving on to kinship by ritual, let's introduce the Compadrazgo system, also known as fictive kinship. Visual images representing Compadrazgo. Host voiceover. In this system, godparents of a child may not be related by blood, but they have a reciprocal relationship with the godchild and family. Visual godparents with a godchild. Referred marriage partner. Host reflective. In today's society, there's growing acceptance of same-sex marriages, which raises questions about preferred terminologies like husband, wife, spouse, or partners. Visual images representing same-sex couples. Host voiceover. LGBT groups have emerged, fighting for their rights and recognition in society. Visual LGBT activists at a rally. Household. Host engaging. Now let's shift our focus to households. A household refers to all persons living together in a housing unit. Visual images representing households. Host voiceover. There are different types of households we need to explore. Types of household. Host informative. One-person households consist of an individual who provides for their own essentials without sharing with others. Visual images representing one-person households. Host voiceover. On the other hand, multi-person households are groups of two or more individuals living together, pooling resources. Visual images representing multi-person households. Family. Host descriptive. Within households, families emerge as members related through blood, adoption, or marriage. But there are essential distinctions to be made. Visual images representing diverse families. Host voiceover. Nuclear families can come in different forms, from a married couple without children to parents with unmarried children. Visual images illustrating nuclear families. Host explaining. It's important to note that a household can consist of only one person, but a family must have at least two members. Visual diagram differentiating households and families. Host voiceover. Members of a multi-person household may not be related, while family members are connected through kinship. Visual illustration highlighting family members in a household. Organization. Host reflective. Let's now shift our focus to organizations, a crucial part of society's structure and function. Visual images representing organizations. Host voiceover. An organization is a structured group of people managed to meet specific needs or collective goals. Types of organization. Host informative. There are various types of organizations, and they can be categorized based on their characteristics. Visual diagram illustrating types of organizations. Host voiceover. Open systems are organizations that interact with and are influenced by their environment. Visual images representing open systems. Host descriptive. Now, political organizations are systems of political institutions organized as a state. Visual images representing political organizations. Types of political organization. Host explaining. Political organizations come in different forms, starting with bands. Visual images representing bands. Host voiceover. Bands are often found in foraging societies and are characterized by low population densities and egalitarian social relations. Visual illustration depicting band society. Host descriptive. Next, we have tribes, which are commonly found among horticulturist and pastoralist societies. Visual images representing tribes. Host voiceover. These societies are larger and more sedentary but lack centralized political leadership. Visual illustration showcasing tribal society. Host reflective. Chiefdoms represent a more formal and permanent political structure compared to tribes. Visual, images representing chiefdoms. Host, voiceover. Political authority in chiefdoms often rests with specific individuals or councils. Visual, illustration highlighting chiefdom structure. Host, informative. And in modern times, the state represents the prevailing form of political organization. Visual, images representing modern states. Power. Host, engaging. Before we wrap up, let's touch upon the concept of power, the ability to carry out one's will, even against resistance. Visual, images representing power dynamics. Types of power. Host, explaining. Power can manifest in various ways, and it's essential to understand its forms. Visual, diagram illustrating types of power. Host, voiceover. Legitimate power through influence involves controlling behavior through persuasion. Visual, images representing legitimate power through influence. Host, descriptive. Legitimate power through authority is granted by people who believe those in power have the right to command, and they have a duty to obey. Visual, images representing legitimate power through authority. Host, voiceover. However, illegitimate power is characterized by coercion, the use of force, or threats to exert control. Visual, images representing illegitimate power through coercion. Conclusion. Host, reflective. And there you have it, folks. We've delved into the intricate web of kinship, explored the dynamics of households, and ventured into the diverse world of social organizations. Remember, society is a tapestry woven with diverse groups, and it's this diversity that makes it fascinating. Until next time. End of script. Creating a YouTube script for economic institutions and types of reciprocity. Introduction. Host, energetic. Hello, dear viewers. Welcome back to our exploration of society and its fascinating institutions. Today, we're diving deep into the world of economic institutions and the intriguing concept of reciprocity. Buckle up. This journey promises to be enlightening. Economic institutions. Host, informative. First things first, let's unravel the mysteries of economic institutions. Economics, as you might know, is the study of how people choose to use resources. Visual, economic flowcharts. Host, voiceover. And economic institutions? Well, they're like the backstage crew that makes the economic show run smoothly. Visual, images of various economic institutions. Host, descriptive. Institutions can take many forms: specific agencies, private foundations, customs, practices, or laws that are crucial to a country's economy. Visual, graphics showing examples of institutions. Host, voiceover. Take, for instance, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, BIR, a government agency dedicated to collecting economic data and ensuring the country's economic health. Visual, BIR logo and images of tax collection. Host, engaging. But economic institutions aren't just government agencies. They also include well-established arrangements and structures that are deeply ingrained in our culture and society. Visual, iconic symbols of economic structures. Host, voiceover. Think about competitive markets, the banking system, or even kids' allowances. These are all economic institutions that shape our daily lives. Visual, graphics illustrating various economic institutions. Kinds of reciprocity. Host, curious. Now let's shift gears and explore a captivating concept, reciprocity. It's all about giving and receiving, but there are different flavors to it. Visual, images representing reciprocity. Host, voiceover. First up, we have generalized reciprocity. It's all about giving without expecting anything in return. Visual depiction of generalized reciprocity. Host, descriptive. Picture this: parents giving to their children. It's an act of pure love and care, with no strings attached. Visual, heartwarming images of parent-child relationships. Host, engaging. But what about balanced reciprocity? Here, you give with the expectation of return, although the timing might vary. Visual representation of balanced reciprocity. Host, voiceover. Think of birthday gifts. You give one, and you usually expect one when your special day rolls around. Visual, scenes of birthday celebrations. Host, reflective. Lastly, we have negative reciprocity, which is all about getting something for nothing. Visuals depicting negative reciprocity. Host, voiceover. It can be as simple as theft or as risky as gambling, actions where you gain without giving in return. Visual, images showing theft and gambling scenarios. Conclusion. Host, inspiring. And there you have it, folks. We've explored economic institutions that keep our economic wheels turning and delved into the fascinating world of reciprocity. Remember, these institutions and principles shape the way our societies function and how we interact with one another. Visual, a collage of economic institutions and reciprocity examples. Host, voiceover. Stay curious, keep learning, and join us next time as we unravel more mysteries of our complex world. Until then, take care. End of script. Creating a YouTube script for education, health, culture-specific syndrome, ethnomedicine, and healing systems. Introduction. Host, energetic. Hello, curious minds. Welcome back to our journey through the tapestry of society. Today, we're exploring the cornerstones of education, the essence of health, culture-specific syndromes, the fascinating world of ethnomedicine, and the intricate realm of healing systems. Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be an enlightening ride. Education. Host, informative. Let's kick things off with education, the cornerstone of development and growth in any society. It's not just about classrooms, it's about shaping individuals. Visual educational institutions and classrooms. Host, voiceover. Education nurtures inborn potentialities, modifies behavior, and fosters all-round development, physical, mental, social, emotional, and spiritual. Visual, images depicting holistic development. Host, engaging. But that's not all. Education prepares us for the future, shapes our personalities, and equips us for adaptability in this ever-changing world. Visual, futuristic imagery and adaptability concepts. Health. Host, compassionate. Next up, we delve into health, an invaluable human right. It's not just the absence of disease, it's complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Visual, images portraying holistic health. Host, voiceover. Health systems, the guardians of well-being, require staff, funds, information, and more. They aim to provide responsive and fair services while treating everyone decently. Visual, health institutions and resources. Culture-specific syndrome and ethnomedicine. Host, intrigued. But what about those peculiar culture-specific syndromes? These are like unique health puzzles specific to certain cultures. Visual, images representing culture-specific syndromes. Host, descriptive. Imagine USOG, a condition tied to cultural beliefs. Social factors often underlie such syndromes, reflecting the interplay between society and health. Visual illustrations of USOG and cultural beliefs. Host, voiceover. And then, there's ethnomedicine, an eye-opening study of cross-cultural health systems that goes beyond borders. Visual, globe spinning and connecting cultures. Difference between Western biomedicine and ethnomedicine. Host, comparative. Let's compare Western biomedicine with ethnomedicine. While one sees the mind and body as distinct, the other views them as a bounded unit. Visual, contrasting mind-body perceptions. Host, voiceover. Diagnosing health problems? Western biomedicine follows scientific understanding, while ethnomedicine looks at natural, socioeconomic, psychological, or even supernatural causes. Visual, Venn diagram contrasting diagnostic approaches. Prevention and healing systems. Host, explorative. Now let's talk prevention. Cultures worldwide have unique beliefs and practices to prevent misfortune, suffering, and illness. Visual, symbols of prevention. Host, voiceover. From charms to rituals, these practices aim to safeguard individuals and communities from harm. Visual, diverse prevention practices. Host, enlightening. And when it comes to healing, it's not just about doctors. In many cultures, everyone plays a role in healing, from self-treatment to recognized healers. Visual, healing practitioners and self-care. The 3 types of health systems at Sherpa of Nepal. Host, fascinated. Lastly, let's explore the 3 health systems among the Sherpa of Nepal. Visual, Sherpa community and traditional practices. Host, voiceover. Orthodox Buddhist practitioners, unorthodox religious or shamanic practitioners, and biomedical practitioners coexist, offering diverse perspectives on health and healing. Visual, Sherpa healers and modern medical facilities. Conclusion. Host, inspiring. There you have it. Explorers. Education, health, culture-specific syndromes, ethnomedicine, and healing systems. These are threads in the rich tapestry of our diverse world. Stay curious, keep learning, and join us next time as we unravel more mysteries of our intricate society. Until then, take care. Visual, montage of educational, health, cultural, and healing imagery. Host, voiceover. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this enlightening journey with others. Until next time, farewell. End of script. Creating a YouTube script for major religions in the world, institutionalized religion, and separation of church and state. Introduction. Host, enthusiastic. Greetings, seekers of knowledge. Today, we embark on a spiritual journey to explore the major religions of the world, the concept of institutionalized religion, and the crucial principle of separation of church and state. Let's dive right in. Major religions in the world. Host, informative. First stop, major religions. Our world is a tapestry of diverse beliefs, and Christianity takes the lead with 2.2 billion followers. Visual, Christianity symbols and imagery. Host, voiceover. Christianity, rooted in the teachings of Jesus Christ, has spread across the globe through missionary activity. Visual, spread of Christianity. Host, engaging. Next up is Islam, the second most popular religion, with over 1 billion followers. It's not just a religion, but a complete way of life. Visual, Islamic symbols and cultural practices. Host, voiceover. Islam's origins in Arabia trace back to the Prophet Muhammad, and its followers, called Muslims, believe in one God, Allah. Visual, spread of Islam in Middle East and Asia. Host, fascinated. Hinduism, the world's third most popular religion, has around 750 million followers. It's a spiritual journey that began 4,000 years ago. Visual, Hinduism's ancient roots and diverse practices. Host, voiceover. While most practiced in India, Hinduism has no founder, focusing more on practice than belief. Visual, Hindu rituals and traditions. Host, curious. Buddhism, born in northeastern India, is followed by 350 million people. It's about understanding suffering and achieving nirvana. Visual, Buddhist temples and meditation practices. Host, voiceover. Siddhartha Gautama's teachings form the core of Buddhism, emphasizing the pursuit of a state without suffering. Visual, Buddha statues and peaceful landscapes. Institutionalized religion. Host, inquisitive. Now let's talk about institutionalized religion. This is like organized religion with an official doctrine, leadership structure, and codified practices. Visual, images representing institutionalized religion. Host, voiceover. Institutionalized religion can be seen in the world's largest religious groups with international recognition. Visual, iconic religious landmarks. Host, reflective. But it's also about the concept of organized religion, where belief systems and rituals are systematically arranged. Visual, religious rituals and ceremonies. Separation of church and state. Host, analytical. Lastly, the principle of separation of church and state is vital. It's rooted in our Constitution, protecting both religious freedom and government neutrality. Visual, Constitution text and scales of justice. Host, voiceover. Our Constitution, in Article 2, Section 6, states that the separation of church and state shall be inviolable. Visual, Constitution text highlighting key points. Host, empowering. This means the state can't establish a national religion and can't interfere with citizens' free exercise of religious beliefs. Visual, citizens practicing religion freely. Host, concluding. So there you have it, explorers. Major religions, institutionalized religion, and the importance of church-state separation. Remember, understanding different beliefs can help build a more inclusive world. Until next time, keep exploring. Visual, montage of religious diversity and unity. Host, voiceover. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this enlightening journey with others. Until next time, take care. End of script. Creating a YouTube script for Why Does Social Stratification Exist? Theoretical Perspectives on Social Stratification. Introduction. Host, energetic. Greetings, curious minds. Today, we embark on a journey to unravel the mysteries of social stratification, why it exists, and explore the fascinating theoretical perspectives that shed light on this complex topic. Let's dive in. Why does social stratification exist? Host, inquisitive. First things first, why does social stratification exist? Social stratification isn't just about individual differences, it's a product of society itself. Visual, images representing social stratification. Host, voiceover. It's not based solely on biological qualities like age or strength, but rather factors like education, property, power, and character. Visual, icons representing education, wealth, and power. Host, reflective. Social stratification has deep historical roots. It's been present since the days of wandering tribes and in ancient civilizations. Visual, historical images depicting social hierarchy. Host, voiceover. Yet, societies often allow social mobility, which means people can move up, down, or across the social ladder. Visual, ladder symbolizing social mobility. Host, knowledgeable. Social stratification is universal. It exists everywhere, but it's also variable. taking different forms across different societies. Visual, world map highlighting global diversity. Theoretical perspectives on social stratification. Host, analytical. Now let's explore the theories that help us understand social stratification better. First up, functionalism. Visual, icon representing functionalism. Host, voiceover. Functionalists like Kingsley Davis and Wilbert Moore argue that social inequality benefits society's smooth operation. Visual, functionalism principles. Host, enthusiastic. The Davis-Moore thesis suggests that difficult jobs are vital and must be rewarded to motivate individuals to fill them. Visual diagram illustrating Davis-Moore thesis. Host, critical. But conflict theory championed by Karl Marx and Max Weber presents a different perspective. Visual, icon representing conflict theory. Host, voiceover. Marx believed society had two classes, the bourgeoisie, owners, and the proletariat, workers, with exploitation at its core. Visual, Marx's class conflict. Host, empathetic. Marx envisioned a workers' revolution, where the oppressed would overthrow capitalism for a more equitable society. Visual, imagery depicting workers' revolution. Host, thoughtful. Max Weber, on the other hand, introduced three dimensions of social standing: class, party, and status. Visual, Weber's dimensions. Host, voiceover. He argued that social prestige and honor played a significant role in social inequality. Visual, status symbols and social hierarchy. Concluding thoughts. Host, reflective. So, there you have it, seekers of knowledge. Social stratification is a complex interplay of history, power, and beliefs. Visual, montage showcasing social stratification. Host, voiceover. These theoretical perspectives help us dissect the intricate layers of social hierarchy that shape our world. Visual, thought-provoking quotes from theorists. Host, empowering. Understanding these theories can empower us to address and challenge social inequality. Until next time, keep questioning. Visual, montage of diverse individuals questioning. Host, voiceover. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this enlightening journey with others. Together we can strive for a more equitable society. Until next time, stay curious. End of script. Feel free to adapt and customize the script to match your video's style and content. Add visuals, anecdotes, or examples to make it more engaging and relatable to your audience.